Okay, so we're going to talk about something called the zone system. The zone system was actually created by Ansel Adams back in the 1930s for the black and white photography he did. And he used it as a tonal range system that helped make sure that his photos had the full tonal range. And when we talk about tonal range, we're talking about 11 shades of gray from black to white. So you see down here in this zone system, you see black, 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 11 boxes. Each of these is separated by a full stop. So this white is the brightest, this black is the darkest, and everyone in between is an f-stop in between. And that's why it's showing you down here the metering from one stop to the next. This would be 5 would be the middle. Overexposed by 1 would fall here by 2, 3, 4, 5. Underexposed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I typed in zone system for digital photography because the zone system was originally created for black and white landscape photography done with film. And it was, I'm going to show you this image right here. So you can see this. Oh, that one's a better image. Look at that. And it's so beautiful. You can see the full tonal range here, right? If you look for the bright white from zone 10, you can find it exists in the brightest areas. And then you keep stopping down as you go through, and you can find every single one of these tones in his image. And it helps create this very full three-dimensional feel. And so what he would do was he would go into the darkroom and he would dodge and burn his images to make sure he had the full tonal range of the zone system in his work, right? You've got those brightest whites all the way down through to those blackest blacks in every single range in the zone in the image. Now, I'm going to show you how this works in Photoshop. In Photoshop N10. So what I'm going to do is get an image. I'm going to open it. And this is a photo that I took and manipulated. And if you come down here in your toolbar, you see there's a dodge tool and a burn tool. And these names came from the darkroom. Okay, so dodge, and watch over here on the left-hand side. Dodge means that you are dodging the light so that it will be lighter. If I apply over here, say if I come over here to my image and I think that yellow in the middle is too bright, I'm sorry, I actually did the opposite. If I think this area over here is too dark, I can use the dodge tool to lighten it up as long as there's detail in there. See how I'm lightening up the photo right here, or the flower right here? I've made this really high contrast, so it's not going to do a significant amount. But if I decided that I needed an area to be brighter, the dodge tool will allow me to do that. If I come back over here and I change it to burn, it has the opposite effect. Let me make this a little bit larger. Okay, this darkens. See how it's darkening? So if I decided I wanted this white to be the only bright white, I could darken this area. And so allows me to darken. So if I wanted to tone down. But in being able to use these tools, we could create, you could see very, very quickly, we could create different zones in our photo. Description of the zones, and it just tells you zone 0 is completely lack of density. It's totally black. Zone 1 is the first step above black. It's a full stop beyond black. And then it starts telling you here, then you start to see texture in zone 2. Zone 3 is a dark material. It has low value, shows some texture. Zone 4 is average for dark foliage, and foliage obviously means trees. Dark stone, landscape, shadow should be in this zone. Zone 5 is dark skin, gray stone, weathered wood, middle gray. And when you're taking a photo now with a DSLR, your camera is going to read the light for you. Back when the camera didn't read the light and they had to figure it out themselves, they could do light readings, and they could also use the zone system to help them know how something should be exposed. Zone 6 is average Caucasian skin in the sunlight, snow, shadows on snow, light stone. 7 is very light skin, gray objects. 8 is white with textures and delicate values. 9 is glaringly white surfaces. And then 10 is light sources and anything printed at maximum white value. So they would know, based on what things should be, how to establish their bracketing in their camera. And so for the most part, we allow the camera to read the light now. However, it could fool you, and I'll show you an example of how it could fool you and how you need to adjust for that. Of course, my camera's gonna, or my, oh, I could have done it on here. Now I'm locking, now my computer is locked up. It likes to do that periodically when I'm in the middle of something important. It's going to tell me I need an update. Okay, here we go. So if you are shooting a bride, the camera is going to read the, I didn't say dresses, I said dress, is going to read the wedding dress as gray. It's going to try to make it gray. And so what you'll need to do is make an adjustment in your exposure. And that goes back to one of the things we talked about. Just, take the photo, take a look at it, and see if it needs to be addressed. Because in order to get this shot properly, you're going to have to make an over and an underexposed shot to make sure you're getting what you need in the photo. And you may have to bring them together with HDR software. But see, that's my thing. That's my go-to, is to use HDR software. We don't have it on here. Photoshop does do some HDR. But what I do with things that are like bright white like this, and that are or that they're really black, is I do an exposure and an underexposure, because it's not just the dress in the scene. We also want to make sure we don't overexpose her face. Now, you can fix a lot of this with lighting, but in this scene they used natural lighting, and the photographer adjusted the camera to get a better shot. Okay, so sometimes the meter on your camera can be fooled, and the zone system just helps you identify when that might happen and how to resolve it. Just some more examples. Okay, so we're going to stop this here, and then I will do practical in the field in the next video.